Hey guys, so going to show you an old product that we have, but we've kind of changed it a bit, and not because we decided to change it, but because the supplier changed how the product is made. So essentially, the difference is they changed out their Flex module. The old Flex module looks a little different than this. Let's see if I got one around here. I do not, but that's okay. Basically the old Flex module, actually there is one in this bike. So if you look at this one, this is what the old one looked like. It said Radiantz on it. It's got the, the wires on the side. This one's the same. It's got the wires on the side, but they actually add a third wire. I'll explain that a little bit later. But today I'm going to show you a little about how this all works. This is the Fender Eliminator strip. It's all-in-one that's got your blinkers, your brake and running, and then it can also do triple flash if your Flex module is enabled for it. This Flex module, we wire these specifically, both the Fender Eliminator strip and the Flex module, we wire it all up with OEM connectors, so it's super simple to install on your bike. I'm going to show you that now. So we'll start here with the Flex module. Underneath your seat, you'll have these connectors. They'll all be black. Mine have been repaired, so that's why mine look a different color. So you have those two connectors. You'll disconnect those. Don't mind the fact that I've got extra connectors. My bike's a little custom. You plug these guys in there, number one, and then number two. And then from here, you take these other connectors and you connect them to the ones that you just unplugged, like so. Now this is the way we would typically do it, and that would be it. Now my bike's got a whole rear custom sub harness, so I made a small demo sub harness here. This is essentially what your sub harness for the rear of the bike looks like. This is the main harness from here up, and then where these connectors are, it switches to a sub harness that goes out to the rear. So this is what the sub harness looks like. It basically has these two connectors on it and then all your connectors for the signals. So this is what we're going to use for our demo. So if you look here, we'll plug these in. Once you have that, you're going to take at the rear of the bike, this will all be underneath your rear fender. You're going to plug this guy in here, and then you'll notice that you've got two gray ones. One of this gray that's next to the black is for your plate light. So you plug in the black one for the signal here next to the plate light, and then you'll plug the gray one into the opposite gray one, the one that is not next to the black. And once you have that all set up, you are pretty much done. Make sure that's disconnected. That's how that works. It's very simple. If you look, we go to brake, and it goes to a high beam, and then we've also got our signals. And you'll notice that the signals here still work while you're doing braking as well. Something to note, when you do go to install this, you'll want to make sure that you got it right side up, because one of them's right and one of them's left. So make sure you flip it the right direction so that it works with the proper turn signal. If you do it wrong, you're going to be undoing everything. No fun. So that's basically how that works. Now that third line that was coming off that Flex module, this is actually for their triple flash, which is now integrated and built into their new Flex module. So on this new Flex module, if you connect these using the bullet connectors, when it's connected, you actually get triple flash on your rear. So you have the option of turning it on or keeping it off. And this is about what it looks like when you do the triple flash. So you get 3 flashes that are strobed, and then it goes to solid. And you can turn that on and off just by unplugging that thing. So that's the whole kit. That's exactly how you would install it, how it works. The other things to consider here is getting this on to the bike. You actually want to mount it on this section right here that's below the rear fender. To do so, you're going to need your old plastic fender. If you've gotten rid of that, or yours is destroyed for some reason, we actually do sell the plastic fender. We can chop it down for you too, so you could buy the plastic fender and chop it yourself, or we could chop it for you. There's a little bit of charge to have it chopped. But essentially, you mount this guy up. You want it to be nice and tight against the bike, so you mount it perfectly up against the bike. So you have to take anything off that's here, mount it up, and then you take your LED strip, put that, and you want to take this LED strip and put it up against the edge of the metal fender, and then draw a line. You can see there's been a line drawn on this one already. Draw a line. I used a pencil as you go around it like this with the LED strip, and then you can chop that right off. And if you look at the one that's on here, there's already a Fender Eliminator. You'll see that you can see where this was chopped with that plastic right there all around the edge. And it's important that you do have this plastic fender because it also protects all the wiring underneath the bike, which is really important because you got 80-mile-per-hour spinning tire, kicking up dirt, water, debris, and that's all hitting your wiring if you don't have that plastic fender there. So that's that. The other thing to understand when you're doing this install is to get the old signals off, which were typically mounted here. To get those off, you're actually gonna have to pull the whole fender stay off. So you'd have to unbolt, 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 unbolt. And then once that's all unbolted, you'd be able to pull this off. And then on the back side, there's a nut. And that nut, you'll unscrew the nut and pull off the old signals. So getting all that off can be a little troublesome. So that's the hardest part of the whole installation process. But once it's done, it's done. It's really not hard to get it sorted out. And one last thing I'll show you. I'm going to show you the Eliminator kit that's actually on this video. But I'm going to uninstall this, so I'm going to cut away for a second to do that. So let's take a look at the Fender Eliminator strip that's on this bike already. So this is basically what the finished product will look like. It'll be without, of course, these side-mounted LEDs. These are separate. We do sell these as well, so if you wanted to do something similar, you could contact us and we might be able to make you something custom. To be able to do these, you actually have to have an entire rear sub-harness that's custom, and that's why this bike has a custom sub-harness, is to run these. This sub-harness also has an extra set of connectors that are connected to nothing for plugging in side case lights as well. So if we put side cases on this bike, which is all set up to do so, when we do, then we can plug into those extra connectors that are under the fender. So to show you how this works, of course, you know, it works very similar to the original. As you see, they are split near the sides. So there's actually a small gap between the center. And then for braking, this one is set up with the strobe. And as you can see, these side turn signals, they also do the exact same functionality as the rear there. So that's the whole kit. Really easy, clean look. Is the only kit on the market, I'm glad to say, that has OEM connectors and is simple to install. Most other kits you're going to find on the market, they're simple enough to install, similar to this, but they aren't going to wrap the whole rear fender like this. They're going to stop around here. And then in addition to that, they require just using posi taps. You could make your own. You could buy, you know, the connectors from us and buy another kit and then do all the connectors yourself. But do you really know how? Would you want to do it? Or the chances of failure could be high or low depending on your skill. So we've done it all for you. Makes it really simple, really easy. It's a weekend job. You know, wrench it on a Friday night. Have fun with your buddies.